Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my first cast of the season. This is NGS Season 9. I'm your host, Odd Thought, and we're looking at a Division C West matchup between Resurgence of the Storm and Annie Oak League, and we'll be starting soon. Hopefully everything goes well. I kind of threw this cast together at the last second. Wasn't planning on casting today, but here we are. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so our pregame is all set up, and Annie Oak League chose to go with hero pick, having won the coin toss. This is already going well, and which means Resurgence of the Storm chose first map of this best of 3. You can see the picks and bans. And we have the lobby going on right now, setting up the match. Looks like everything is in order. This will be a no camera stream since I set it up at the last second. Yeah, so our bands tonight: Resurgence of the Storm banned Sky Temple and Volskaya. Annie Oak League banned Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom, taking out a couple of T maps. We're going to Infernal Shrines for Game 1. Looks like both teams are loaded in. As far as where these two teams are, it's pretty early in the season. This is a round 3 match, if I'm not mistaken. And Annie Oak League is currently looking for their first win. Resurgence of the Storm has 1 domination, so they're sitting at 3 points. Annie Oak League with 0 points early on in Season 9. And it looks like we're good to go. So here is our draft. Let's see what will happen. Feel free to let me know if my audio levels are all whack. Did a little bit of testing beforehand. First ban, Zeratul. Annie Oak League not wanting to deal with the jumpy, stealthy, time-stoppy nuisance that is Zeratul. And Zool, very popular ban these days, especially after his most recent rework. Resurgence of the Storm saying no thank you, not going to deal with that. Phoenix, the second ban of this first ban phase from Antioch League. Phoenix, I think, is rather underrated by many. You can get away with a lot of things that many assassins can't, thanks in part to his ability to teleport. A couple of strong ultimates as well. Final ban of this first ban phase will be ETC from Research to the Storm.
Anna checking in.
And Anna is checking in. First pick from Antioch League. Very popular early pick and early healer pick. The response from Resurgence to the Storm will be Johanna, another perennial favorite. Always somewhere in that meta for the tanks. And Kael'thas, same can be said for the fire mage. There's an immediate mage pick response from Antioch League with Gul'dan. Wonder if we'll see some Reign of Vengeance. And Raynor. A lot of good old standbys so far being picked by both teams. Let's see what we get for the third and final ban from the blue team, Resurgence of the Storm. Looking for their second domination of the season. And it will be Garrosh. Garrosh, an excellent zoning tank. It's difficult to move in on him because he'll just toss you over his shoulder into his team so you get blown up. And the final ban of the first draft phase from Antioch League will be Greymane. Highly versatile assassin. He's good at poke, he's good at taking camps, which are all over the place on this particular map. And he's good at blowing people up once he goes into Worgen form, but he's not going to be in this game. Instead, Dahaka and Stukov will be. Stukov, an incredibly powerful silence. Dahaka with the stun, lots of CC on the left side of your screen. And we get even more CC on the right side of your screen from Antioch League, picking Mal'Ganis and Rexxar. Mal'Ganis can put entire teams to sleep. And Rexxar with Rexxar's pet Misha, or you could say Misha with Misha's pet Rexxar. Misha has that low cooldown stun. And later in the game, Rexxar can put out a lot of damage. Final pick of the game will be Tychus. Tychus, a frontline killer, does percentile damage. Should be able to put some hurt out on Misha and Mal'Ganis. And that's our draft for Game 1 of this best of 3 series between these two Division C West teams. It's going to be a lot of CC at both of these teams. It's going to be interesting to see which team can coordinate it just a little bit better and win those team fights. Audio sounds great. Thank you, Snackin'. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, this is my first cast of the season. So I don't have a lot of the bells and whistles in place quite yet. But soon, TM.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
And away we go.
You know it, partner. The battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. I've already messed up. I only have vision on one team. So that's uncool. And I forget how to fix that. No, that's not it. Well, that's a problem. I think we got it fixed though. No, we don't. Okay, I think we're good now. Alright. No, I still only have vision on one team. Ah, first cast. Sorry, guys. I know there's like an easy fix for it there. I think we got it. I think we got it. Oh my god. Okay, so let's get this cast going now that I repaired my screw up. Or maybe I didn't. No, blue team is still disappearing. I know somebody knows the easy fix for this. If you know, let me know. What I need to do is deselect.
I must gather my strength at our base.
Oh god.
The first shrine will be active soon. Steel yourselves.
Is it E? Oh my god, you saved my life. Thank you, MJD. Okay, now I can actually cast the game. 1,000 thanks. Okay, so we have the first objective phase starting. Oop, there's a turn from Dahaka into a silent circle. Nice combo there. And Raynor will pay the price for that. Red team gets first blood. First objective phase is at the top of the map. AOL Vince Noir is on Gul'dan. It's already starting on killing the creatures that you need to kill in order to win this objectives. First team to get to 40 will secure the boss, the Punisher. Resurgence moves on in, takes control back of the zone here, but we have some full-on team fighting going on. Nice triple sleep from Mal'Ganis. Johanna doing her job. Percy's playing Johanna. Oh, Wingman goes down though. Kael'thas killed by Rexar. And Antioch League has control of the objective area once again. Johanna poking her face in there, trying to cause some problems. Antioch League only 3, 2, and 0. They get the first Punisher. It is the mortar variety. Johanna taking the brunt of that initial assault from the Punisher. Raynor drawing attention from the fort for just a little bit there. Double stun from the Punisher. No real follow-up from Antioch League though. And it looks like this top fort will go down, so that'll be the first building of the match.
Red team's Punisher
destroyed by Annie Oak League. They go ahead and drop down to mid, and maybe they're going to keep going. Maybe they want to go after... thought they may have seen a pick opportunity or something like that. They're interested in what Dahaka has to say about things. They're also taking this siege camp down here. Resurgence gathering themselves after losing that first objective. As Johanna smashes into Mal'Ganis. Wingman getting a little fire from Gul'dan. Well, Vinsnor Transformer and Gayline taking that camp. Gola doing the usual tank zoning / warding. As Resurgence also got their camp going in this mid lane. Double sleep from Mal'Ganis. A lot of damage goes out on Johanna. That's exactly what Resurgence likes to see. They want their tank to be taking those kinds of hits in those situations. Meanwhile, top lane, that fort does finally go down. It did not go down earlier as I thought it might have. And we have some more camp action here with AOL grabbing their bruiser camp. We'll see if they actually... Yep, they do take it right away. Sometimes teams like to wait on that. Looks like Resurgence wanted to push bottom lane just a little bit there. And Annie Oak League is responding, cleaning that up. Resurgence taking their bruiser camp now. Rexar doing the double soak dance between top and mid. And Annie Oak League saw an opportunity to get more building damage done bottom lane, and they did. Gola down to 50% health, taking some damage from Tychus. There's a silence, won't be able to save themselves. And Vince dropping the Horrify just a little bit too late to save Mal'Ganis. It's going to be 2 kills to 1 in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. Both teams pretty much equal in experience, 11 apiece. And Resurgence of the Storm is starting the next objective phase. Rexar is going to clean up top just a little bit, while Annie Oak League amasses their forces. Gola is back. Transformer playing lane a little bit at the bottom. And the Arcane Punisher, second Punisher of the game, taken without any trouble whatsoever by Research of the Storm. Let's see what value they can get out of it. It's going to jump here any second now. Stun goes off on Gola, and there's a kill. Tychus getting credit for that. C2D2 in said Tychus. Popped his ultimate. Speaking of ultimates. Show those off now. As the bottom fort is killed, so that's evening up the building totals. Both teams have 5 buildings remaining. Resurgence is going to get some keep wall damage here before that Punisher falls. We're approaching the 10th minute of the game. 3 kills to 1 in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. They go ahead and walk all the way back to their siege camp. Annie Oak League favors the bottom lane siege camp. Pig Merlin on Dahaka doing that yeoman's work in the middle. Simon on Rexar doing the same top. Perseus seeing a possible pick here on Transformer. Gola tries to save them and does. Out comes the Raynor ultimate. And Rexard, seeing opportunity to join the fight here, throws out his ultimate. Those boars streaming across the screen there, slowing members of Resurgence down for a little bit. But nothing else really comes of it. No deaths out of that. It's a relatively low kill game so far. And the Oak League trying to support their mercenaries here. They want to get some more building damage. Make up for that bottom lane hit that they took during the second objective phase. And Oak League is back to their bruiser camp. Rexar is left alone in the middle here with 4 members of Research of the Storm. They go ahead and finish off that middle 4 wall. Both towers destroyed. Resurgence moves on to their bruiser camp, takes that. As the Anti-Oak League version marches about midway through that top lane. Gola doing that warding thing. Trying to keep tabs on Resurgence of the Storm. Makes a move. Gets a sleep off. Out comes the Raynor ultimate again. C2D2 taking a lot of damage. Unstoppable popped by Perseus. Out comes the slappy arm from Kenster. Pig Merlin uses their ultimate on Transformer. And we get a kill. Mal'Ganis getting credit for that kill on Stukov. So that's 2 kills actually for Anti-Oak League. And they decide not to keep pressing on that keep. They see the objectives up, so they go ahead and get that started. Perseus and Pig Merlin cleaning up top lane. Rexar working on bot. Let's see if Resurgence of the Storm decide to take any mercenary camps. 16 to 17. Same talent tier. Anti-Oak League with a XP lead now, about a level. And they go ahead and secure the 3rd Punisher of the game. It's going to be the Frozen Punisher. Marching down middle lane. It looks like Gola sees possible pick on Tahaka here. Pig Merlin put to sleep by Ana's dart. Slept again by Gola. Horrify, nice isolation Horrify there out of AOL Vince Noir. And that's going to be another fort down. Meanwhile, Punisher didn't quite finish off Resurgence's middle fort, but AOL's going to go ahead and take that siege camp on the blue side of the map. Make it their own. Looks like they might support it as well. Make a play for that middle fort. They also took this bottom lane siege camp. Raynor just playing the macro, Transformer playing the map. Anti-Oak League doing a nice job of mitigating how much information they're giving out to Resurgence, using those vents to hide themselves. And they see that Resurgence is all bottom lane, and they took that opportunity to kill that fort. And we're seeing an interesting flip here. Anti-Oak League coming in from behind, finding Wingman. Ana also dying in this exchange though. Gul'dan getting credit for 2 kills. Stukov, that's 3 kills for AOL, Vince Noir, and Annie Oak League. Resurgence of the Storm did manage to pick up 1 kill. Transformer down to below 300 health in that little mini push into the middle. Without a hero though, they decide it's probably wise to back up, play some lanes. Four kills to 7 in favor of Annie Oak League, and they're looking for more. Looking for a camp invade here. Bruiser camp looks to be available. AOL, Vince Noir, and Gola moving in on that. To be joined soon by 2 of their teammates. And Annie Oak League reached that level 20 level first. Let's see if they can find a way to use that advantage here. Rainer dismounting C2D2, but Transformer gets tongued by Pig Merlin. Oh! And that poison damage on C2D2 from AOL Vince Noir. That could have been fatal. But it wasn't, fortunately, for C2D2. Stukov was there in time. Kenster getting that handy heal. Handy heal. Alright, so we're back up to an objective phase. Annie Oak League so far being able to farm up the requisite minions without any real opposition, although C2D2 did just pop his ultimate, so lots of AoE damage coming out from both teams. Misha's gonna die pretty quickly there. Transformer in trouble, getting real low. Gola with the multiple sleep, making another great CC play. Okay, Lion in trouble here. We have 2 separate fights going on. So far it's 2-1, 2-2. Resurgence and Annie trading punches. There's a pretty great sleep on Kenster from Gay Lion. That's going to secure that kill despite the slappy hand. Or will it? Yeah. Hero slain. Anna getting the credit for that. Oh, and by the way, through all that team fighting, a Punisher was secured. It's a Mortar Punisher. Moving right onto the bottom lane keep here. 3 members of Annie Oak League in support. And look at that stun from the Punisher. Nicely used there. But it was on Johanna. Perseus is able to get out alive. And there's a jumping stun on C2D2. Annie Oak League just concentrating on core. They see that they can finish this match perhaps. Transformer taking a lot of damage. The Punisher is down. Johanna getting stunned, chain CC'd, popped her unstoppable. Is able to survive. Misha moving in. And destroyed. Mal'Ganis also dying. This looks like a successful defense on the part of Resurgence of the Storm. There's a Horrify that isolates 2 members of Resurgence of the Storm. And there's a ton on Simon, but no follow-up damage for that. 8 kills to 10 in favor of Annie Oak League now. Resurgence once more. C2D2 moving in. Oh, but that poison damage. AOL Vince Noir laying down the hurt. Gay Lion in trouble. Spreads the bomb a little bit. And Anna will go down. Kael'thas getting the credit for that one. The fighting continues. Resurgence wants this camp. They have 4 heroes on the map. Antioch League only has 3. Rexar and Misha trying to cause a little bit of trouble there, but that's about all they're able to do. And this is a back and forth affair, folks. We're at level 22 for each team. And now we're seeing Resurgence of the Storm having their run of the map here, changing it blue. Antioch League needs to get their full team back, which they won't be able to do for another 15 seconds. Same is true for Resurgence though. They're 3 seconds away from having all 5 of their members back on the map. Top lane's looking somewhat nasty. They're going to have to deal with that at some point. Antioch League cleaning up bot lane. And rather conveniently, the Bruiser camp is up for Resurgence of the Storm, so they're going to go ahead and take that while they clean top lane. Antioch League knows exactly where they are. Let's see what they do in response. Will they try some kind of a gank maneuver? Use a vent somewhere to surprise? Looks like not. Resurgence of the Storm is wary of it though. They're also perhaps setting up their own situation here. Both teams being very tactical right now. And Antioch League just gave Resurgence of the Storm a lot of vision as they move into his top minions. And Gola's going to be in trouble here. Out comes the Horrify. So many ultimates being thrown about. C2D2 getting low but getting away. Same with Gola. No kills. We are at 5v5 still. Resurgence of the Storm has to think that this is game, so they're going to throw everything they have into this fight, I would expect. They're doing fairly well, chasing off Antioch League. There's a quality tongue on Gul'dan. But Pigmerlin might be the one who falls from that 400 health, 100, and Gul'dan getting the poison damage kill. And this fight is now pushing from right to left. Meanwhile, Resurgence of the Storm loses another hero, and their core is dying as they're losing that fight in the middle. We have 3 catapults on the core. It's down to 40% health. The shields are down. Antioch League just wanting to keep them here in this fight so they can't go back and clear. And that's going to be game 1. The Winions finishing it off. 4 catapults, actually. I think I miscounted that earlier. Game 1 goes to Antioch League in this best of 3 series. Let's see if my post-game screen... No, it doesn't. Alright, so looking at the stats here. 10 kills for Resurgence of the Storm, 13 for Antioch League. Some fantastic play coming out, especially saw some nasty silences from Kenster, who also wins the numerical healing battle, 99,000 to 86,000 from Ana. Ana with a 282 line. Stukov with a 183. Highest hero damage of the game. AOL Vince Noir, 83,000. A lot of kills as well, 5. That was a great back and forth match. Could have gone either way. That final objective, early on in that final objective fight, Resurgence looked really strong, but Antioch League was able to turn the tide and take that game 1 for themselves. Looking for their first series win of the season. And that's the story of game 1, friends. Let's record the winner as Antioch League for that. See if this updates properly. Alright, there we go. I just set this up like an hour and a half ago, so Thanks for sticking with me with warts and all. In this Division C West Round 3 matchup between Resurgence of the Storm and Annie Oak League, I want to thank MJ Doom once again for helping me fix the early problem at the start of Game 1. Alright, so we're waiting to see what the next game will bring us in terms of map pick. Who wants it, and what is it going to be? I want to say the MVP of Game 1 was School Dan, played by AOL Vince Nor. As we try to get the next lobby going here. Oops, I'm in the wrong. Joined the wrong lobby. Still waiting on the... Okay, there we go. Okay, looks like we're going to Battlefield of Eternity for Game 2. And that was picked by Annie Oak League, it looks like. So we'll update that information here. Thanks to both teams for putting up with my wackiness tonight. Again, setting this up on short notice. By request. Uh-oh. We had a loading problem, so I'm not jumping over to the draft yet. You may have heard evidence of it with that clunking sound. Might need to remake lobby. Stay tuned, folks. Looks like one of the players on the side of Annie Oak League disconnected or something like that. Snacking asking if there are any predictions based off of the first match. So coming into this, it looks like on paper, Resurgence of the Storm has been more successful in the early part of this season with a domination to their credit. Annie Oak League still looking for their first series win, set win. But winning that first match, Annie Oak League is looking like they want to catch up in the standings a little bit. They can win map number 2. That will give them a domination for the season, which is worth 3 points. Looks like one of the members of Annie Oak League are restarting their computers, so we're just going to have another little delay here. But yeah, I think it's, I don't know what you guys think. out there in Twitch land, but first game seemed very back and forth to me, very even. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. Battlefield of Eternity is one of those 2-lane maps that can be over in 9 minutes if everything goes wrong for one team. Much will depend on the draft, which is always true. But it can be especially true on these 2-lane maps, I think, where small mistakes can be magnified by quite a lot. You're missing a whole third lane to make up for XP deficits, for example. Still waiting on the restart. Pile of Fish says, I suspect Resurgence to take this one. Perhaps you know something the rest of us don't. Maybe this is a favorite of Resurgence of the Storm, favorite map. Looks like we have all 10 players back in the lobby. Pile of Fish saying, I think game 1 was a bit of a luck out for AOL. We shall see. As the draft is about to begin. And there we are. Battlefield of Eternity, 2-lane map. Objective once again summons a boss who marches down a lane. In that regard, it's rather similar to the map we just saw played. There is a hidden third lane on this map, actually, and it's the middle, the jungle in the middle. See a lot of skirmishing going on there. A lot of walls, a lot of blocks to vision. Mal'Ganis, there's the ban. And Zeratul, we saw that ban last time. See if any more respect bans come out from Resurgence of the Storm here. One thing to look for in Battlefield of Eternity drafts is which team, or will the teams draft for the objective race, or will either of the teams draft more for just straight up team fighting? And there's another Zool ban. We saw Zool ban in game 1. Zool was nerfed recently, but Resurgence of the Storm doesn't want to deal with it regardless. Doesn't want to test out the new parameters of that hero. Dialed down a little bit. And Phoenix banned once again. Some favorite bans.
The crusade calls.
And Johanna. Perseus back on Johanna. Did well in game 1. And we see Ana, but we have a little mix-up here. We have Vala instead of Gul'dan. AOL Vince Noir moving to Vala. Vala, a favorite on this map. She does very well either as a team fighter or as an objective focused hero. Lucio is going to be the first, or going to be the healer selected by Kenster for Resurgence of the Storm. And Li Ming, I was going to mention Li Ming earlier. She's popular on this map in part because she can throw her long distance magic spells across walls, across gaps in vision, fog of war. She's also good at the race. Wingman picking Li Ming. Final ban from Annie Oakley will be Greymane. So very similar bans in game 2 compared to game 1. See what the final ban here is going to be. And there's a Rexar ban. Rexar is rather popular, especially on 2-lane maps. Or can be, rather. It's just very strong as a solo laner overall. ETC will be our tank for any Oak League and Artanis. So they are definitely building for race, but they have some nice team fight as well. Nice balanced draft so far. On the right side of your screen from any Oak League. Artanis with a little bit of touch-up in the latest patch as well. Final draft phase from Resurgence of the Storm will show Raynor and Thrall. Thrall also very good solo laner. Should be a fun matchup. Whoever Thrall ends up against. Raynor, very strong. As we saw in Game 1. Very good at this map in particular. Again, can do both team fighting and racing. And Zarya, somewhat unusual pick. Transformer. Picking up the sort of utility support type of a player or hero. A lot of damage showing on the left side especially. We'll have to see what AOL Vincemore can do with Vala and how any Oak League approaches this map in general. They could be rather teamfight focused as well if they wanted to be. And there we go. So Zarya's going to be played by Transformer, AOL Vincemore playing Vala, Gola playing ETC, Simon on Artanis, and Gayline on Ana, Li Ming played by C2, D2, Perseus playing Johanna, Kenster playing Lucio, Wingman playing Raynor, and Thrall will be played by Pig Merlin. Doing the unusual call out of the names during the load screen, because I don't have anything cool set up for the load screen. Since I did this on such short notice. Thanks everybody for showing up. I'm glad this game could get cast.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
And let's see if I can avoid messing up the start of this game like I did last game. As predicted, we see Pig Merlin at top lane on Thrall. Simon will be going mono e mono with them up there.
Seconds.
And we have the rest of our players.
5, 4,
Bottom lane.
3,
Standard start.
2, 1.
And here we go. Game 2 of this best of 3. Round 3. Division C West matchup between Resurgence of the Storm and Annie Oak League. Annie Oak League winning the first map, looking for domination. 3 points if they win this map. Resurgence of the Storm trying to take us to a Game 3, everyone's favorite thing, a Game 3. Let's watch a little bit of this early laning, fighting phase. So everybody tests their metal. Gola taking a lot of damage for that. Shield comes out from Zarya. We have blinds on both sides of these conflicts. Or we will eventually once Simon picks their ultimate. I'm assuming they'll go with the blind, but I guess we'll find out. Level 1 talents are on your screen. Vala, notably going with Monster Hunter. It's a very race-oriented pick. Gola seeing a possible play on Wingman. Slides in. Takes a lot of damage. And is destroyed. Raynor's going to get the kill. Credit for that. ETC death. And Resurgence of the Storm moves directly down to this bottom siege camp. They take it. Meanwhile, Simon's pushing the lane against Pig Merlin. Pig Merlin seems to be content to just let that lane get pushed toward them a little bit. It's a safe clear. Shield out on Transformer. Well, it's a self-shield, rather. And there's another Gola stun. Sliding in on Wingman. Gola says, if you're going to be that fashion forward, I'm going to make a play, but pays the price. Raynor blowing him up. That's 2 kills for Resurgence. That's going to give them that level 4 talent advantage. First ones to get there, but now both teams are at 4. Both teams are going to start their bruiser camps. The Immortals will be spawning in about 25 seconds. Simon positioning themselves to get started on the objective racer right away, it looks like. Pigmerlin maybe took a peek at the camp, didn't see Simon up there, is back to playing lane.
I shall purge your evil from this demon.
And Annie Oakleague is on the attack right away, taking the blue Immortal down to about 60%-ish. Once you get that life bar down to 0, you will win this objective. There's a swap. Simon making the first swap of the game, opening their account in that regard. Level 6 to level 5 right now, but no deaths. Managing to stay alive on both sides. We're at halftime. The blue Immortal down to 50% now. Percy is low. Transformer also low. Blinded. Ana trying to heal him up. Simon. Oh, nice Ana heal there, keeping Simon up until he can get his shield. But Kenster's gonna... Actually, Lu Ming gets credit for that kill. Another nice sleep dart from Galeon. That's gonna result... Actually, Johanna getting the Zarya kill. And Vala dying. So, Annie Oakleague wins the Immortal. Resurgence won the team fight a little bit there. Immortal's gonna go to bottom lane. Swap on Pigmerlin. Pigmerlin gets the root, is able to get out. Immortal's down to, the shield's almost down on the Immortal. That's what the top bar is above the red life bar there. Once the shield's down, it does have to resort to melee attacks. Gola with a slide in, but nobody gets stunned from it. Transformer at 50% health. And they'll just back off.
The demon's attack has failed.
Have to be content with getting the bottom lane wall down. Resurgence managed to save their well. See it on the left side of your screen there, that's pretty important. So that could have been a lot worse, one could argue, for Research of the Storm, in terms of damage taken from that first objective. First objective tends not to be too terribly strong. There's some nice combo damage going out on AOL Vince Noir. And Resurgence trying to get a little bit of their own siege damage done here. Lu Ming's a great tool for that, as long as her spells aren't being blocked by the opposing team's heroes. You can see the C2D2 targeting that bottom tower, and it does fall. Both towers are gone, actually. So it's kind of even-steven down here in this bottom lane. Johanna doing a nice job of absorbing a lot of damage and cooldowns. Gola sliding in on Raynor once, or that's not Raynor, that's Perseus. I'm so used to him sliding on Raynor. Meanwhile, top lane is rather benign, it's just sort of even. Although Simon's taking a lot more damage at this particular moment. And there is a nice slide and swap onto Wingman. Rainer getting caught out just a little bit there, but is able to escape. Simon's low, Gola is low. Gola will die. That's ETC going down. And Zarya, maybe even Vala? No, 149 life. She survives. So that's 2 kills for Resurgence of the Storm. They are resurgent. 7 kills to 0 in this game too. And those 2 kills are going to free them up to go ahead and take this to halftime. When you get the Immortal down to one of the Immortals down to 50% health, it will switch to this halftime phase. They reposition. And this is favorable for Resurgence of the Storm. They get to finish off the Immortal on their own side of the map. And Pigmerlin showing some savvy there, starting the Bruiser camp as the Immortal is secured by Resurgence of the Storm. Antioch League took their Bruiser camp for some... Well, it's going to turn out to be a little bit of additional defensive presence here for them, I suppose. We'll see how that works out. Simon hanging out bottom lane. He's probably going to clear up that camp. And the blue Immortal is marching from left to right. See how much value Resurgence of the Storm gets from the second objective. Shield is down on the Immortal. Gola seeing another opportunity. There's a nice sleep dart follow-up, but no real damage. So C2D2 just got tickled by that whole combo. Goes down to below 50%, gets a shield from Zarya. Nice Vala stun. There's a Zarya ult, but it will be Vala dying first. Out comes the Mosh, stunned out of it. Transformer falling. And Gola looks to be finished off. Li Ming with 3 kills, getting those resets, putting out the additional damage. 10 kills to 0, level 12 to level 11, Resurgence of the Storm. Feeling it. Moving in on this keep ball. Potential swap there, but it didn't come out of it, just the slide. Simon perhaps thought better of it. And Resurgence of the Storm, they're not going to be greedy here. They got a little bit of damage done on that keep structure. Keep complex. And now they're taking that top siege count. At the same time, Pigmerlin secured the bottom siege count. Map is blue for the time being in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. Level 13 to 11. Let's see how aggressive they decide to be with this advantage they've created for themselves. As they move on down to bottom lane. Antioch League wisely backs off. They are a talent tier down. Well, maybe not. Gola snaking around looking for something. Perseus, how comes the ultimate from Thrall? Zarya dies. Rainer getting the credit for that. Alright, so here we are from the objective phase. Red Immortal taking a lot of damage very quickly. Gola is going to move in there, got blinded. Here Zen gets a quality stun out. There's a really good combo play between Gola and Gay Lion with the CC chains. No kills come of it though. Antioch League considering moving in to play defense. They do move in, but only sort of half-heartedly. I think it was pretty clear that that Immortal phase was all but over when they started moving in, so they backed off. And look at this pick, top. Artanis gets blown up. Resurgence of the Storm moving in on this bot lane fort. Zarya's shields have been used. There's Zarya's ultimate as well. Only catches, well, ultimately 2 members of Resurgence of the Storm. No combo on top of it though. Fort does go down. Resurgence is up 4 buildings to 2 as they move on to this bottom keep. Percy is taking quite a bit of damage though from the bottom tower. Looks like they're going to be content with that and move on. Resurgence showing some nice temperance here. They're not too greedy. Taking about as much as they feel like they can get and no more. Playing the map, using the rhythm of the map to their advantage. Taking this top bruiser camp now. Meanwhile, Antioch League secures their bruiser camp. And we might have a little bit of something going on top lane. Gola with this slide into the mosh. And it will be good enough to secure a thrall kill. 5-4, some nice aggression coming out from Gola and Antioch League. That's going to cause Resurgence to withdraw. They can still find something useful to do with their bruiser camp though. But that kill may just secure a fort for Antioch League, something that they could really use. Percy stepping in. Gola wants it. Gola will die for it. Out comes the shield from Johanna securing a Vala kill, perhaps more. Transformer trying to save Galen's life. Dies for it. With Lucio chasing, this is pretty dire for Ana. Oh, almost got to the gate. Wasn't enough. And Ana's blown up. Meanwhile, bottom lane. Simon is working on that just a little bit. Leaves it. Pigmone's gonna strengthen the push down there with that additional siege camp. And Resurgence the Storm is looking to take this to halftime again with their Immortal at full strength. Antioch League is on the same talent tier now, level 16. Has been achieved. They could look for some fight opportunities, and when they move, Thrall with the disengaged Sunder. Resurgence showing a lot of coordination with their aggression and their disengages. Gola getting some nice slides on isolated members of Resurgence of the Storm though. Some pretty excellent individual moments here. 2 deaths though from Antioch League. Galen down to 400 health. And C2D2 securing that kill on Ana. Vala able to get out. AOL Vince Noir. About a quarter of their life total. C2D2 Wingman and Kenster moving in right away in true Lucio fashion, just running it down. They're not going to wait for any Immortal. They're actually split pushing from the Immortal. Break It Down comes out, giving Lucio's teammates a huge shield for a small amount of time. That's going to finish off that keep. And they're going to go ahead and rotate up top. They have a half-shielded Immortal. They're up 19 to 16 in terms of power level. AOL is back to full strength. It's 5v5. Perseus is at 75% health. The Immortal's still rather strong. Let's see if it can do anything more than this keep. That's both keeps down. Out comes the Zarya ult in. See the Thrall Sunder. Blind out. From Simon. The Immortal's on the core, but it's probably going to die pretty soon here. Will anyone else die? In addition, we have a lot of low health bars here. C2D2 within range of Simon doing something.
Thus ends my assault on
Slides in but does not do the swap. Annie Oakley once more. Simon dies. A little too fashion forward there perhaps. C2D2 looking for a combo kill and Anna doesn't get it. There's a quality mosh. Not a lot of follow-up though. Angola is going to die. This looks like Core is now definitely in jeopardy. It's down to 50%. Perseus taking some damage, but it's Johanna. And that's going to be game 2 in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. Going to a game 3, my friends. Resurgence of the Storm looking in command for much of that game. They did well to stay positive after that opening loss. 22-1. Absolutely dominating the kill count and the run of play for the most part. C2D2 with a stellar 9-13-0 game. Top hero damage in the game on that Li Ming. Turned out to be a very strong pick for Resurgence of the Storm. Only one death that came from Pig Merlin. I think there was that one pick top lane if I remember correctly. Maybe I don't. But Pig Merlin doing well in terms of XP. 12.8k earned. Artanis, the other solo laner, 15.8. ETC and Zarya having a rough time. 7 deaths apiece. Zarya unable to get much value from their ultimate. I noticed it was fired quite a bit without any real combo play dropped on top of it. That's what you want to see from Graviton Surge, right? So, excellent play out of Resurgence of the Storm, especially for game 2. And it looks like Pile of Fish called it. Pile of Fish says, you know the squid that predicts World Cup every year? I'm the squid and this is the World Cup. Alright, well we'll have to see what you have to say about game 3 once that comes around. So far, the team that picked the map in this set has lost. So we'll see who picks the map for game 3. Go back to the map select screen. Map 1 picked by Resurgence, won by Annie Oak League. Map 2 picked by Annie Oak League, won by Resurgence. And if you're just tuning in, this is an NGS Season 9 matchup. Division C West between Resurgence of the Storm and Annie Oak League. Resurgence of the Storm has 3 points on the season. They have a domination from one of their earlier sets. And Annie Oak League still looking for their first set win and their first points in this young season. And they're showing very well. Both teams looking really good in these games. As we put the lobby together for the next match, and it's going to be Alterac Pass. Let me update that. Not sure who Let's see who picked this. Trying to find out who picked this. We'll know in a moment as they change the settings. Okay, so it looks like Resurgence of the Storm picked this. Picked Alterac Pass. For Game 3, which, if past as prologue from this set, might bode well for Annie Oak League. We shall see. Pile of Fish, who is the World Cup squid of this particular NGS cast, is predicting a ban on Raynor. Let's go to the draft. 1-1 in this best of 3. The winner of this third map will earn 2 points for the season. Or add 2 more points to their tally for the season. Will we see the Raynor ban? There's the Zeratul once again. Consistent bans coming out from these teams, although we did see some respect bans come out. From the blue side of your screen, Resurgence of the Storm, which worked out well for them. Took away a couple of the tools the Annie Oak League had at their disposal in Game 1. Some smart decisions there. Will they continue to ban out those heroes? And there's the Mal'Ganis ban once again. That worked out for them. So they're going to keep with it. Second ban of this first ban phase from Annie Oak League. Li Ming. Yeah, Li Ming was a terror in Game 2. She will not be a part of Game 3's festivities. Second ban from Resurgence of the Storm. No Raynor ban so far. And it's going to be Rexar. So they're liking they're liking the adjustments they made after Game 1. And we have the Ana first pick once again from Annie Oak League. And there's the Phoenix. Phoenix banned twice. So that must have been based on some research there. C2D2 getting that Phoenix, and we're seeing Johanna once again. Some consistent picks here from various players, including Perseus. Let's see how Annie Oak League responds. There's a return to the Gul'dan for AOL Vince Noir. And Raynor. Raynor makes it through, not banned. Some familiar faces from previous maps appearing once again for Game 3. What's our third ban going to be from Resurgence of the Storm? Maybe a tank ban? Annie Oak League hasn't picked their front line yet. And it is a Nubarak. And a Nubarak ban. 2 base kit stuns with the Nubarak and spell armor. Plus potential cocoon. But we don't have to deal with that. It says Resurgence of the Storm. He's gone. Ooh, taking it all the way down to the wire for both of these bands. Kael'thas goes bye-bye. Pile of Fish says, I guess I am not the squid, but I suspected AOL to ban Raynor. This might be smarter. Time will tell. And that's okay. The World Cup squid didn't pick lineups, right? just a win-loss prediction, so you're still good. Thrall and Lucio
Tremble before me.
for Resurgence of the Storm. Diablo will be the first response from Annie Oak League on the right side of your screen. Actually, quite a lot of opportunities for Diablo to get his stun combos going around the objective fight areas on this map. Might see some lightning breath. And Zool makes it through. Zool banned in the first two maps. So we're seeing some banned heroes finally making their way through. Phoenix on the left side, Zool on the right. Those two heroes can really change the complexion of a game. Fun fact from Pile of Fish, most squid become calamari.
From order comes justice.
Final pick of the game, Tassadar, recently reworked. Blizzard teased us about a Tassadar rework for months and months. It finally happened. Tassadar squarely a mage now. Used to be more of a support player. Shielding teammates and so on. All that's gone. Now he has baseline force wall to control the battlefield on a short cooldown. Can be quite nasty. And those are our two teams, folks. Phoenix, played by C2D2. Johanna, played by Perseus. Kenster on Lucio. Pigmerlin playing Thrall. And Wingman playing Tassadar. Transformer on Raynor. Gola playing Diablo. AOL Vince Noir on Gul'dan. Simon playing the often banned Zool. And Ana, once again played by Gay Lion. We're on Alterac Pass for Game 3 of this Division C West best of 3 match between Resurgence of the Storm and Annie Oak League. I'm your host, Odd Thought, my first cast of the season. Thank you for joining us. As our two teams line up. The GLHF's coming out in chat. Good luck. Have fun. Pile of Fish, our resident World Cup squid. Even though he's a pile of fish, they are a squid for this particular cast. Saying it's going to be bloody team fights, lots of sustain. Zool hanging out top lane. Pigmerlin making their way bot. Simon was our Tannis last game. Here's that forest wall keeping Gola involved. Early tussle, maybe. Oh, there's the well-timed root out of Pigmerlin to prevent any hope of a pick. Yeah, well, Vince Noir starting AOL's siege camp. Meanwhile, Wingman and Kenster starting the blue siege camp. Up top, we have C2D2 versus Simon. The two banned heroes going at it. Gola stayed bot lane and is dancing around with Pigmerlin. Red camp is taken first. Gul'dan brings excellent wave clear. That's Johanna for a tank. Same can be said for her. Resurgence of the Storm took their camp a little bit later. That's often a positive thing. Gives you time to clear the other team's mercenaries. And then yours can continue with less of a distraction. Ana healing up Diablo slowly but surely down here. That health pool is so huge. could take a while. And we're seeing a lot of siege pressure being put out on this middle wall by Resurgence of the Storm. Getting that bottom tower down quite a bit. So that early battle for mid lane is tilted ever so slightly in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. Top lane is pretty even. Same thing can be said for bottom lane. Our first objective phase will be in the bottom part of the map. So prisoners spawn one of each color. Teams will be fighting over those. Whoever secures the objective will summon little mini bosses in each of the 3 lanes, and those will push down those 3 lanes. Need to be cleared. All 3 maps of a similar nature in that regard tonight. And the Oak League making a move. They have vision on 3 members of Research of the Storm, so they went ahead and moved in. And they started the capture process, but minions will probably retake that. Meanwhile, Resurgence of the Storm took their siege camp, so they'll have some pressure pushing down mid lane during this phase. So different kinds of smart play coming out from each team there. Transformer and Gay Lion and Gola cleaning up that middle mess, while Vince Noir was watching after the objective area for a hot minute before helping out in mid. Resurgence of the Storm seems content to let this develop its own pace. C2D2 making some progress top lane just a bit, and heads down. Levels are pretty much even, 8 to 8. Slight XP lead for Resurgence of the Storm. We have yet to see our first blood. Might be coming up pretty soon here. Percy is taking a lot of damage from Relevance Noir. C2D2 also getting rather low. But no one dies in that little clash of titans. And the Oak League gathering up some experience from bottom lane. So we're just playing lanes, we're cleaning things up. Gola, as usual, moving forward, looking to make something happen. Seen that quite a bit in these matches tonight. Resurgence of the Storm thought about taking their siege camp, decided not as Annie Oak League moved in. And now we have another team fight going on here. Force wall came down ever so briefly. Percy is getting low. It is Johanna. She's probably fine. Kenster, though, Lucio is made out of paper. Got down to 250 health, but did survive. Will not be able to heal their team through this part of the fight, though. Meanwhile, Anna still has a lot of mana. Threw out the anti-healing grenade, and that's going to be a dead Phoenix. Phoenix got blown up. And Annie Oak League securing the first objective of the game. Zool working the bottom lane low on mana. See how they manage that. Resource issue. Probably just stay there and keep pushing. Looks like they're doing a 3-1-1 split. They being Annie Oak League in this instance. Pushing top lane with 3 members against Pig Merlin. Resurgence of the Storm has the bulk of their defense. 4 people in the middle. Zool free pushing bot. So that's going to be a dead top for it. Zool taking down the wall bottom. Middle still the healthiest of the three. Some decent value for the first objective for Antioch League. All 5 red team members in the middle. Middle lane is rather important on this map. That's where those mercenaries march down. So it's good to make progress there, especially. Of course, the top and bottom lanes also have the bosses in them, which tend not to be that useful until later in the game. And we are seeing a siege camp acquisition phase from both teams. Once again, Antioch League securing theirs a little bit earlier than Resurgence. Six buildings to 5 in favor of Antioch League. They're looking at top boss. Maybe they can grab that, they're thinking, while middle is being cleared. Simon keeping them busy. There's 3 members of Resurgence in the middle lane. Pig Merlin's wise to this though. He's checking it out. Sees it. Pig Merlin's presence looks to have wasted Rainer's ultimate there. So that boss will be marching, putting a little bit of pressure in top lane where there's really no building to be gained for that. But it will affect map tempo quite a bit. And it looks like that's what Antioch League is playing for, as they've already moved down to bottom boss. Simon taking a lot of damage. Aggressively getting it started as early as they can, but it looks like it's going to leash. C2D2 disrupting the rotation. Antioch League's rotation down there to help Simon out. But they're back on it. Will they have lost time though? Could this be a throw pit scenario? Zul throws out his mages to try to slow down the advance from Resurgence in the full-on team fight. Zul's gonna die. Transformer also dies. That's 2 kills for Phoenix. Phoenix dies though. But it looks like Gola might go down. 500 health. Gola does drop. 3 kills for Phoenix. But look who got the boss. Resurgence of the Storm. Three kills to 2 now in the game. Both teams level 13. Resurgence of the Storm has a slight XP lead now. And with the boss cleared, they definitely will not lose the fort here. Bosses are just a little too weak at this stage of the game. But there was some map tempo gain there, which allowed Resurgence of the Storm to move forward and start capturing the enemy camp for the second objective phase. Antioch, you'll recall, took the first objective phase.
They've secured the cage. We have to unlock it again.
So they stopped that timer you can see right above the mini-map. When you secure the enemy cage, that timer starts counting up. When it fills up, you win the objective. Right now, both cages are locked. Here comes the force wall to isolate Gola. Gola taking a lot of damage, but uses Apocalypse to good effect there. Lucio dies. The bloodshed, the carnage. Thrall drops. Johanna dies to Zul. Gola's down to 400 health. Simon's super low. But guess what? All 5 of them are alive. And 3 of Resurgence of the Storm are dead. It's 5v2. Gola moving in. Getting the flip. Force wall disrupting Antioch League's attempts to coordinate and get that kill on Phoenix. But you can see that timer counting up right above the mini-map on the right side of the screen. Antioch League looking to take the second objective, although they're rather low. Well, not for long though. Phoenix taking a lot of damage. Diablo dies, Phoenix dies, Raynor going down. Oh, the humanity. Anna dead. Tassadar dead. Simon just will not die. He's out of mana though, so probably won't last much longer. Maybe. The word sustain was brought up earlier. We saw a little bit of that from Zool. But Antioch League reversed the early trend. And they actually won the second objective. Even though Resurgence of the Storm picked up an early lead on that progress, they were not able to actually finish it off. 7 kills aside, 6 teams aside, game 3. Both objectives going to your red team, Antioch League. That's the main difference here. Although building count is also in their favor, 6-4. It's in no small part because of the objective wins. And Gul'dan getting caught out there. Will fall. Phoenix showing why perhaps he was banned in previous games tonight. Gola victimized and blown up.
It will take more than that to stop the Frostwolf clan.
So the run of play is fairly even, except for the objective and the effects of the objective. I think that's the main difference in this game 3 so far. Resurgence of the Storm has to find a way to get an objective win, perhaps. Pigmerlin starting this boss solo. Time is of the essence in this game. Every second counts. Ana sniffing it out from afar. Sort of like what we saw earlier with Pigmerlin sniffing it out from afar. The Force Wall stopping AOL from moving in on that. Confident boss take on the side of Resurgence of the Storm. That's going to absorb the attention of 3 members of Antioch League, but not Gola, who moves in solo rather deep into the blue half of the map. Out comes Earthquake from Thrall. And Gola, oh, the health pool. Oh, but Phoenix with the ultimate, still not going to be enough. 200 health.
You know what to do.
You know what they say? You only need 1 hit point. All the rest is just extra. That Maxim getting a little bit of visual aid from Gola there. Lucio shepherding his team over to the siege camp. Antioch League moving bot. It's not much to be gained down here except for posturing for the boss. Building's already dead. They're also setting up, of course, for the objective, which is now available. Out come a whole bunch of ultimates, APOC. Nano boost. Gola, Perseus is the first one to die. Simon low. Simon dead. Lucio blown up, along with Diablo. Pigmerlin, that poison damage, 70 health, and now 0 health. 3 dead. On the blue side of the world. Only 1 dead on the red side. Antioch League getting the better of that. Diablo is able to resurrect pretty quickly after dying. Low on health, even lower now after the quality AOL Vince Noir corruption, which applies poison damage over time. And Antioch League looking to secure their 3rd objective. About halfway to securing that in that timer. Resurgence of the Storm can't really do much about it. 2 of their teammates are still dead. C2D2 looking to maybe push top lane a little bit. Wingman is at 60% health. Lucio's alive. Kenster moving back into the play field. Resurgence of the Storm didn't really have much to do there, so they're just kind of hanging out, waiting for the objective minions to make their way toward them. It's 3 for 3 on objectives. The APOC comes out early looking for some kind of a combo play. Gola makes good use of that force wall. Raynor drops his ultimate. Gola is low and will fall. Johanna also low. Out comes the Phoenix ultimate. Lucio just barely keeping people alive, but Johanna does eventually fall. Raynor also died in that. AOL Vince Noir is down. Simon chasing C2D2. In a separate fight, Ana is killed. And that's going to be a full team wipe. Annie Oak League winning the objectives, but losing in a big way the team fights. They can't really support what they earned. Resurgence of the Storm can't mount the best defense here though, because they only have 3 people alive, but they will defend 2 of their keeps. Top lane keep is gone. You can see under the boss's health, there's 3 little shield icons, and one of them is now empty because one of the keeps is dead. So Resurgence of the Storm's boss, core boss, has less armor. Future attacks against it will be stronger. Every keep you lose makes your core personality weaker. Resurgence still has a little bit of time here before AOL is at full strength. So they're going to use that time to secure this bottom boss, it looks like. Annie Oak League grabbed their middle siege camp, and they're going to be heading toward top boss, it looks like. They sensed the boss play, bottom lane. Resurgence of the Storm wants to rotate up there perhaps and stop them, or are they going to pause and clear middle? No, they're going to keep moving. They will not get there in time. AOL doing a good job of balancing out the map pressure there a little bit. Top boss for Annie Oak League is heading straight to core. There is no building to stop it. Meanwhile, this boss will have to deal with some structures on its way to core. Annie Oak League making a play for Resurgence of the Storm siege camp. They did have vision on Resurgence clearing that boss. And that's going to give them some free, well, not free, a little extra damage on middle keep. And Oak League dominating the objectives. Every one of them has gone their way, if memory serves. And we are at level 22 for Resurgence of the Storm, 21 for Annie Oak League, 16 kills to 12 in favor of your blue team. And we got to be starting something. The ultimates are flying. Gola also flying in. Saw a pick opportunity on Thrall. Thrall gets blown up. Gola flipping Perseus, tank on tank action. Wingman tossing up. That ultimate damage from Tassadar. Perseus at 100 health trying to stop the camp take. Does so, and it's going to be another team wipe. Can Gay Lion survive this? Lucio is 40 health. Lucio was targeted by the and the kill is secured. Tassadar finishing that off. So full team wipe. Death timers are quite long now. But this team wipe did not secure the objective this time. That could prove to be quite the damaging exchange for Antioch League. Resurgence of the Storm moving in on the red siege camp. Taking it quite handily. They'll go ahead and just concentrate on securing this objective while the siege camp does a little bit of damage to that gate structure. Gola checks that bush, making sure there's no kind of a gank setup, but they're looking for maybe that sort of thing themselves. Gola can throw themselves in, get that choice stone. APOC, stun on Kenster perhaps, the attempt anyway. Simon really low. Phoenix ultimate doing a lot of AoE damage. Simon will die. Gola in trouble and falls. Ana is super low, as is Raynor. This could be another team wipe. C2D2 not quite able to reach Ana. 4 more kills for Resurgence of the Storm. This time, not only did they win the team fight, they also won the objective. It's late game, 24th minute. The goal here is to get more than one keep so that it's easier to kill the final core boss. But they may just push straight into core, we shall see. Only Gayline is up to defend. Does delay the inevitable with the sleep dart on 2 members of Resurgence. And Resurgence of the Storm is going to go ahead and move on in. We don't care that he has 2 shields left of armor. We're just going to burn through this anyway. We're level 24 heroes. We're going to secure the 2-1 victory in this back and forth matchup. The GG's coming out. And there it is, folks. Game 3, going to Resurgence of the Storm. Weathering all of those objective losses. Getting a lot of team fight wins. Finally able to combine the 2 into one concerted effort. Phoenix banned in the first 2 matches, showing why in the third, with top hero damage in the game, top XP in the game, top siege in the game, 7 kills, 16 assists, C2D2, showing why Phoenix wasn't allowed to enter the game earlier tonight. On the other side, AOL Vince Noir putting in more quality work on that Gul'dan. Gola having a tough time in Diablo, 7 deaths. Zul dying 6 times. Putting in some good XP work though. Healing, Lucio 123k to Ana's 87k. Lucio with 4 kills. He can be like that Tassadar. Wingman's Tassadar looking good. 11 kills, 13 assists, 1 death. 70k hero damage. Solid work for a recently reworked hero. Already showing some skill with that. And Pile of Fish from chat saying closer match, but Resurgence will take it, quoting themselves from 22 minutes earlier and showing why they are tonight's World Cup squid with the successful predictions. Well done. All right. Let me go to the my makeshift This is all I have tonight, man. Y'all, I just set it up quickly, so we're running with it. Let me update the info here. And let's see if we can get a little interview That should update. All right. Let's see if we can get a little interview going on here. C2D2 might be joining us. Oh no, we can go into, okay, we'll go into lobby 1.
Yo.
Hey, is this C2D2?
Yes, it is.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
I just want to apologize off the top for the beginning of game 1. Had a little bit of a vision problem.
Okay.
I haven't cast since season 5, and I set this up very quickly. So when you watch the VOD, if you watch the VOD, there's gonna be a little bit of vision weirdness at the very beginning. But MJ Doom from Twitch chat helped us work that out. And from then on, it was a wild ride. What are your thoughts on tonight's set overall?
Oh man, I mean, definitely a wild ride. I feel like they were targeting pretty hard with the bans.
Yeah.
Me specifically.
Well, and you showed why, didn't you, in game 3? I was talking about the Phoenix. You kind of
they banned. Yeah, they definitely. That's one of my best heroes that I play, and they banned it the first 2 games. But when the second game Li Ming, they had to respect ban it in the 3rd game, and so that freed up the Phoenix, and one of the Phoenix counters I think is the Joe. So it's we've been sticking with the Joe, and I was just like, let's Joe Phoenix.
All 3 games, right?
Yeah, let's just Joe Phoenix, and let's take that out, and let's try to really just see what I can do on that.
Another standout for me in game 3 was Tassadar. I mentioned the stat line at the end there: 11 kills, only 1 death on a fairly new hero, right? Quote unquote. So it looks like y'all have been putting in some work with that, maybe a little bit. Definitely showing tonight.
This is actually like the first. He's definitely been putting in some work on that. We'll say that, and so he's confident in that, which is good.
Yeah.
And Tassadar with the recent buffs, I think he's definitely more viable now and competitive than he was pre buffs. So.
Yeah, especially in more of a straightforward, just I'm an assassin way, right? As opposed to what am I exactly? Although I did notice Diablo Golo was able to sort of use the wall against you guys once or twice there.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting interaction. That was fun to see.
Yeah, the Diablo task is always a thing, regardless of what side it's on.
Right.
Creating that wall space.
So what was your headspace as a team, moving from one game to the next with this sort of topsy-turvy outcomes, especially with...
Sure.
I'm just thinking of team cohesion, especially with game 3 was sort of a microcosm of the set at large, in that you guys kept losing, like winning team fights, but losing objectives like 3 in a row. So I thought that your cohesion seemed really strong tonight, just in terms of like morale.
Yeah, no, I think the second game, just like, we had 1 death in the second game.
Right.
So that really these guys definitely are better than us, where we just kind of messed up that first game. They honestly, so game 3 rolls around, and we keep losing the objectives, but we've been playing that map sometimes. So, I think in other maps too, with the tower changes and the fort changes, you lose the objective in that map, and it's not as bad as it once was.
Right.
So you can just, even 1 keep down, it's really hard to end with 1 keep. I mean, we were level 24 when we won with the 1 keep at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the games are going on for a long time. We can just keep scaling and just win that fight,
Right. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see Infernal Shrines, just because of those tower changes and everything. It just seems like that map I thought it might take a little dip this season. It's always been very highly picked season after season, but I don't know if you've noticed that so far this season, if that's changed.
Yeah, no, the Immortals are definitely weaker, but I feel and we got kind of thrown off our game a little bit, but there's a way to play that map still. You know, I don't think it's the same, but there's a way to play it.
Right.
So.
Well, very cool. I wonder for anybody who's watching us who isn't familiar with your team, if you wanted to just say a little bit of how you came together for the season real quick.
Yeah, we're just we're a group of friends that all know each other IRL, and just figured with the whole lockdown kind of issue here, we all play HOTS, so might as well do something with our time. And just kind of formed a friend team.
Nice.
So kind of ranging all over skills and whatnot, but
that makes sense for your anti-tilt quality that we saw on display tonight too. I think IRL friends, that's a lot easier to accomplish. You're not just going to instantly start eating each other necessarily, and maybe that's still in there somewhere. But
that's kind of our normal communication anyways, eating each other. So as long as it's just like a baseline there, then we're good.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, how about some shout outs to close us out tonight? And congratulations again on the win. 2 more points for
shout out to the Throne Club out there who's I know watched this stream, and my girlfriend Risa. We just hit the 1 year mark. So, and then everybody else, we're coming for you. We're coming for you too. We're coming for you too.
Oh, I know it's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, you have what? You have 5 points now in the season, so it's looking pretty good. You have a domination.
5 points.
2 more tonight, so you're on your way. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup between our 2 teams whenever that comes up.
For sure.
Cool. Well, congratulations again. You looked real good tonight. And
thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right, yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, folks, that was C2D2, who had the dominant performance in Game 3 on Phoenix, showing why it was banned the first 2 matches. And excellent play coming out from just about everybody tonight. I'm not saying that in a everyone wins way. There really was quality individual performances, some nice combo work on display tonight. Real back and forth, not only across the set, but within individual maps. So this was a fun series. I'm glad I cast it out of the blue like I did. Thanks. I want to thank all of you for watching and putting up with my early shenanigans. Thanks to MJ Doom for helping me solve that problem, or solving it entirely by yourself, really. And thanks to C2D2, actually, because it was C2D2 who direct messaged me and asked me if I would cast tonight, and I wasn't planning on it, so here we are. So that happened. My account is now open, so hopefully I'll have more bells and whistles for you the next time if I do another one. Pretty sure I will now that I've started. And that's about it, so I'm going to close it out here. Highly entertaining 2-1 victory for Resurgence of the Storm. Antioch League, very well played, showing that you still have a lot of spirit as this young season enters maybe its middle stages. So I look forward to seeing what you do in your upcoming matches. I think my team, Cosmos, still has to play you, so that will be interesting. And thanks to everyone watching once again, and look for more NGS action. We have tons of games every day. You can go to nexusgamingseries.org, I do believe it is. And there's a calendar there, and you can see all kinds of action coming up. And that'll be it for me. So thanks for watching once again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.